In the world of crypto, which is so often all about hype and, let's be honest, a ton of volatility, there's a project making a really bold bet on something different: trust. So today we're going to dig into the TOI Foundation and its TOI chain. It's this ambitious plan to build a massive, regulated digital ecosystem, basically from scratch.
And this really gets to the heart of the matter, doesn't it? This is the fundamental challenge for pretty much all of blockchain right now. Can you actually be on the cutting edge of things like Web3 and AI while also being totally compliant and, trustworthy? Let's see how the TOI Foundation is trying to answer that with a big yes.
All right, so let's get right into it. With any project this big, before we can even talk about the what, we have to start with the why. We're going to unpack the core vision that's really driving this entire thing.
And here it is, plain and simple. It's not about being the fastest or having the most features, at least not at first glance. The key word here, the one that just jumps off the page, is trusted. I mean, in an industry that's often called the Wild West for its lack of oversight, saying you want to build a globally trusted ecosystem, that's not just a goal, that's throwing down the gauntlet.
What's really fascinating here is how these goals all kind of feed into each other. It's like a feedback loop. See, they're not just building the digital roads, they're also funding the Web3 and AI cars that are going to drive on those roads. And they're doing it all in a way that's compliant and transparent. It's a whole approach to building a market, not just another piece of tech.
Okay, so a big mission is one thing, but how do you actually build that trust from an organizational level? Well, that brings us to the entity that's steering the ship, the TOI Foundation. Let's take a look at how its very structure is set up to build confidence.
Now, this right here is a really crucial detail. First off, the main organization is a nonprofit. That signals that they're committed to the health of the whole ecosystem, not just maximizing profits for shareholders. And its location is just as important. Being registered in the Abu Dhabi global market puts them right in a world-class financial hub that's known for having really solid regulatory rules.
So being at ADGM gives them access to something called a DLT Foundation license. You got to understand, this isn't just some piece of paperwork. It's basically a legal green light from the regulators themselves. It allows them to issue tokens and run their operations completely above board. It's a huge piece of their claim to being legit.
And this lays out their strategy perfectly. It's so deliberate. A lot of projects, they launch first and ask for forgiveness later. TOI is doing the complete opposite. Their path is crystal clear. First, establish a legal presence, then get the official license, and then operate in full compliance. It's really a textbook way to build confidence from day one.
So with that foundation of trust in place, what are they actually building on top of it? It's time to pop the hood and look at the engine of this whole thing, the TOI chain.
At its heart, the TOI chain is what's called a Layer 1 blockchain. The easiest way to think about it is like a foundational digital highway, kind of like Ethereum or Solana. It's that base layer that everything else gets built on. But this one's been designed from the very beginning to be super high performance and ready for a global audience.
And the chain is really built on three big promises. First, you've got performance, with a pretty ambitious claim of being infinitely scalable to handle tons of transactions. Second, low-cost transactions, which, as we know, is absolutely essential if you want people to actually use it. And third, full smart contract support, which is what lets developers build a whole universe of dApps. You put these three together, and you can see they're really trying to solve that classic blockchain puzzle of speed, cost, and functionality.
Look, having a powerful blockchain is great, but it's pretty much useless if nothing is built on it. It's like building a superhighway that nobody drives on. So how is the TOI chain technology actually going to be used? This is where we need to look at the whole ecosystem.
And this is the smart part. They aren't just sitting around waiting for developers to show up. Nope, they are actively building their own stuff, investing in everything from their own crypto exchange and a stablecoin to even getting into cloud computing and specialized chips. By also funding other dApps and Web3 startups, they're making sure their new highway has traffic from the moment it opens.
So what's the fuel that powers all of this activity? Well, it's the native TOI token, and it's designed to have four really important connected jobs. Staking, which helps secure the network. Governance, which lets people have a say in its future. Utility, so you can pay for services. And incentives, to help it all grow. It's not just a coin, it's the lifeblood of the entire ecosystem.
All right, so we've looked at the vision, the organization, and the tech, but where is all of this actually heading? Let's zoom out and take a look at their roadmap for the next several years.
I think this slide perfectly captures the two sides of this project's personality. On one side, you have the nonprofit goals: funding education, research, that sort of thing. On the other side, you have these super aggressive business goals, a global token launch, growing the ecosystem, and getting major partnerships. But here's the key. They don't see these as separate things. They're two sides of the same coin, where the growth fuels the social impact and the social impact drives more growth.
Which leaves us with one last, pretty big thought. When you pull it all together, a nonprofit foundation, a clear path to being regulator-friendly, high-performance tech, and this dual mission of social good and business growth, could this be the blueprint? Is this what the future of responsible digital transformation actually looks like? It's a really compelling model, and I guess only time will tell how it all plays out.